Hello, old gun guy here. I've been out of commission for about a month. It's a very cold and wet spring, so I was down south for about a month. Come back and get the flu. So this will be my first video in about a month or so. The ones that I staged, they were just scheduled ahead of time. But today's video is going to be on the 25 ACP cartridge, automatic Colt pistol cartridge. And this not seen so much anymore. Diminutive little pistol that fires. It's a Beretta Model 20, 25 ACP. It was made from 1968 until about 1985. The predecessor to this was the Beretta 950, and the successor is the currently produced Model 21A Beretta, which was made in 25 ACP and 22 long rifle. And they dropped the 25 ACP maybe 10 years ago. But we'll go into that when I talk about the pistol. Do the cartridge first. The 25 ACP, automatic Colt pistol cartridge, designed by John Brown in 1905, 120 years ago. This little tiny full metal jacket round here. It is centerfire. It's the smallest case John Browning could figure out to put a centerfire primer in it. And the reason for that is he wanted a reliable pocket pistol. The 22 long rifle, I got something here, is rimfire, and it's just not as reliable as centerfire. Priming compound sprayed around the rim, and the firing pin strikes the rim of the cartridge. And 22 long rifles, designed for rifle. When fired out of small pocket pistols, the 25 ACP has a little bit of an edge. But in my gun club, they have 22 sporting competitions, and there's a tin can there with many duds. They were struck, they just didn't go off. That happens more often than you think with the 22. It's not critical if you're target shooting, but if in a self-defense situation it is. The cartridge is, I think the case is 16 millimeters long, but it's semi-rimmed. It doesn't have a full rim, and it's not rimless like a lot of modern cartridges. I think the only modern cartridge surviving like that is the 38 Super. That's semi-rimmed. But I don't know if that shows up on camera. It's got a very little rim. The rim is slightly bigger than the body of the case, as opposed to a rim cartridge like the base of this 22. Developed in 1905 because small pocket pistols, Derringers and such, were very popular back then. And he designed it for, I think it's 1908 vest pocket Colt and a Browning. There's probably millions of pistols made with the 25 ACP. A lot of people denigrate the little cartridge. It's useless and bounce off people's heads. It'll, it's quite lethal. Does it have a lot of power? No. It will penetrate into the vitals of a bad guy, an adversary. And depending on shot placement, you may or may not stop him if he's determined. But the upside is it's a very small, lightweight handgun you can conceal every 25 auto. None today are being made by any company, but there are millions in existence, probably 2 million maybe, various manufacturers. Colt, Browning, Beretta, and high-grade companies and lesser companies. The manufacture them over the decades. I don't think anyone's making one today. About 1905, 50 grain full metal jacket projectile was a standard loading at about 750 feet a second, 720 feet a second, at these little pocket pistols. It holds about 1.5 grams of various powders, 1.7 gram, very little powders, very little powder in the case to propel the projectile. It operates, the rifling twist is just like a 45 ACP, 1 in 16. Max chamber pressure, 25,000 psi, which is actually superior to, a lot higher pressure than, say, a 38 special, or off the top of my head anyway, or even a 380. 380 operates about 17,000 psi, if memory serves me right. My police career, I've seen people killed with this caliber, and I've seen people wounded with it. And the one story I go with this cartridge, one call was a elderly black woman, bad neighborhood. Guy broke in, tried to hurt her. She had a little, I think she was a Colt vest pocket, 25 ACP. She fired 3 or 4 shots at him, and he fled. It was effective for her. He ran away. He was later arrested in the hospital. She hit him twice. He survived his wounds, but he went up in a hospital later on, but it had its effect. This cartridge, to go into a little bit of history, infamous history. The Second World War started in 1939. Nazi Germany invaded Poland, and at the same time, the Soviet Union invaded Poland from the east. So the Germans came from the west, and the Soviet Union invaded from the east. They had an agreement, a pact of steel, Hitler and Stalin, two evil, very evil dictators. The World War II started then because the British and French declared war on Germany. Interesting enough, they didn't declare war on the Soviet Union that was invading Poland at the same time. So much for politics there. But in the spring of 1940 in Poland, there was a Katan forest. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the Soviets rounded up thousands of Polish military officers and police officers, and Stalin ordered them executed. He had his chief executioner, who was a colonel in the NKVD, which was the secret police, if you will, the secret, the thugs, the murdering thugs of the Soviet Union. Vasily Bulukin, I think his name was. He was the colonel or the commandant of it. He was in charge of Lubyanka prison, but he personally used this cartridge to murder 7,000 people. There was a film on it. I remember watching it, but basically he would have his staff. He would work at night. He did this 30 days straight. He murdered 250 to 300 soldiers per night. And how it was done, they had a room where they processed the soldiers being in. They identified them. They bound their hands and they brought them into the next room, which was padded with soundproofing, and the floor was sloped, had a drain in it, and a window with a chute leading to the outside of the building. The two NKVD personnel would bring the prisoner in. This Bloikin, dressed in a leather butcher's apron and gloves up to his shoulders, would walk right behind him and shoot him in the back of the head with the 25. He would do that 250 to 300 times per night. He did that for 30 days. The body hit the floor. They washed the blood down, slide the body down the chute into an awaiting flatbed trucks, and then they went into the forest. The bulldozer, they had I think 25 trenches a night for all the bodies they were killing and burying them. Bloikin did that for 7,000 human beings. So that's just like a note of the evils of collectivism. But one wonders if the Polish troops had a little concealable 25 that wasn't found on when they surrendered. Could they have shot some of them guys and escaped? But evil will always be with us, and the good people. It's nice to have some options to save your life. No one should die like that. Live to like a slaughterhouse with cattle. Like I said, the 25 is, it's often made fun of, but it is lethal. Like I said, shot placement is everything. Is it my first choice for a defensive firearm? No, but it may be, you know, if you inherit one of these, or you acquire one in a store, you got perhaps arthritis, you're elderly, you just want something to protect yourself at close range, something like this Beretta Model 20 will suffice. I go over the pistol. The predecessor to this was the Beretta 950. Looked almost identical, except there's a single action only pistol, which means that the hammer has to be back to fire. This is a pop. They both work the same. They have a tip-up barrel, but I can actually completely dry fire this with safety because you have your barrel up in here. But this is a double action, and then the second shot would be single action. The 950 was made from 52 to 68. This was made from 68 to 85. And then the pistol that followed this, which is kind of identical. So the 950 was single action only. The 20, Model 20, was double action, single action, and they added a safety catch. I don't think the 950 had that. It's kind of like the 1911, just goes up and down. Up is safe, down is fire. And if you got big hands, sometimes it's easy to hit that by accident. The 21 is still made today, the 21A, I believe. They made both these pistols in 22 long rifle and 25 ACP, but they dropped Beretta maybe 10 years ago, dropped it, 5 or 10 years ago, I can't find out a figure, but they dropped the 25 ACP chambering in this. They still have the 22 long rifle chambering. But all things being equal, the centerfire 25 ACP is going to be as reliable as anything you would carry, a 9mm 45, centerfire cartridge. It's going to fire. The design of this pistol is it's straight blowback. It doesn't have an extractor, so a lot of times it just relies on the force of the cartridge acting on the slide, to cycle and eject. So when you fire the cartridge, the case just blows straight out the back, and it does have an ejector, and the ejector drives it pretty much straight up in the air. In a way, sometimes you hit yourself in the head when you're shooting this thing. Double action, single action has a safety, but it is not drop safe. You can discharge this pistol if it drops the right way on concrete, safety or not. That's something to keep in mind. One of the unique features is it has an 8-round magazine, they all do. Base of the pistol, this one's loaded, I'm not going to bother unloading it for now, but base of the pistol goes in. The magazine releases on the lower left side of the grip, little button there you push, almost near the base. You can either load the pistol, put a magazine in, and charge it like that, and it'll chamber around. Or if you have 8 rounds in a magazine, you put the full magazine in there, hit this little lever on the left side, which releases the barrel, and you drop a round in there like that. The thing I found is if you've been firing it, right now it comes out. Sometimes you pop it up and you want to remove the live round. It doesn't want to come out. You could shake it, so you need some type of tip of a knife to catch the cartridge. If you try and clear it by pulling back the slide, it ain't going to do anything. It has no extractor. The barrel, it weighs 9.9 ounces. It is tiny, fits in the palm of your hand. 2.5-inch barrel, and on a 16 right-hand rifling twist. This is double and single action. You put it on safe, nothing will happen. Drop the safety, it fires. Comes apart real simply for cleaning. Has plastic wraparound grips. They're checkered. This model, the 20, is blued. I think these 21As are like kind of a matte finish, but this is blued. The bluing's a little worn, but it's It's a nice little feature. It's got this nice sized trigger guard so you can get your finger in there. One of the things, if you get a big hand, you can knock this safety up when you're shooting it if you're not careful. Well, even if you've got a regular sized hand. But it's 8 shots and 1 in the chamber, so it makes 9. And it's very reliable, pretty safe pocket pistol. They were very popular throughout the whole 20th century. Even today, people like a little tiny pistol. Early in my police career, we had different, backup guns. When I first came on, they were a little more lenient. I carried a 22 pocket gun as a backup, and then I went to Walter PPK in 380. But the purpose of that is your main firearm got jammed up, or you couldn't access it. You could have a backup weapon on you, and save your life or somebody else's. These things have been used by both good and bad guys throughout history, like all firearms. It's pretty accurate. You can shoot a torso size Q target or whatever from 10-15 yards away, but it's really intended as a belly gun, close range, 0 to 7 yards, 0 to 10 yards max, but real close range to engage anybody who's trying to harm you or hurt you or kill you. And the trigger pull on this, it's got a heavy double action trigger pull. Not super heavy. It's about, I did it with the trigger gauge. It's a little, let's see, I think I recorded like 9 pounds on a double action. I'll try it here again. What do we get here? 9.5 pounds. The single action trigger breaks nicely, like 2.5 pounds. It's pretty. What do we get here? Yeah, 2 3/4 pounds. So you can't ask for lighter than that. Very inconsequential felt recoil. With anything in a self-defense mode, shot placement is critical. Heart, central nervous system, computer, boiler works. Obviously, if bullets interact with the central nervous system, brain or spinal cord, you generally get a very rapid stop to hostilities. And that's the saving grace of something small like this. You can accurately place, 5, 6, 8 shots, 9 shots, a whole gun in a short period of time. Pretty tight group. I'll try and demonstrate that when I do the demos. The larger version of this was a Smith & Wesson Beretta Model 71, slightly larger, same functionality with the tip-up barrel. The Israeli Mossad used this after the Munich massacres. Not this particular pistol, the 71, in 22 long rifle, obviously with a suppressor to eliminate some of the terrorists that killed the Israeli athletes in 1972. In fact, I think the first one they eliminated, they shot 11 times, 1 bullet for each athlete that was murdered. Evil has always been with us, and they were avenging the horrific act that took place in the Olympics back then. But since the primary purpose is a close range defensive pistol against humans, that's what we're talking about today. It's really not a target gun. You can plink with it and practice with it, as you should, but it's close range personal defense weapon. Comes apart fairly easy. You gotta cock the hammer, tip the barrel up, right? You gotta tip the barrel all the way up, and then you can pull it back on a slide and release it. And that's it. And clean the whole gun. I gotta try and point this out. The springs are in the frame. There's 2 little notches here, that catches the slide. The springs go down into the grip. That's what the recoil springs are. To put this back on, you gotta, there you go, on, you get it on the frame rails, and then you gotta push down, push your barrel, and that's it, you're good to go. I'm gonna do some demonstrations with it. I'll do the chronograph. I'm gonna try this Federal punch out. 45 grain full metal jacket. It's loaded hotter. I never shot it before. I'm gonna try it in a little pistol first time. It's kind of got a full metal jacket, kind of like a flat nose with a little conical. It's not a hollow point. It's just like a little dish in it. See how they work out. I do accuracy tests, 7-10 yards. I shoot the PMC ball here, bronze, 50 grain full metal jacket, and then I'll shoot the Federal punch. I'll do a thermal effects test. I'm actually going to do two. I'm going to do one with the 50 grain full metal jacket and one with the Federal punch. It's supposed to be 100-150 feet a second faster than the stock 50 grain full metal jacket rounds. It's got a 45 grain projectile, so it's a little lighter, but it's supposed to be a little more effective. Here's an empty case, a fired empty case. It's so tiny, you know, it's very diminutive. Not a toy though. Okay, I'm gonna go to the demonstrations, what I can do with it, chronograph, do a few demos, rapid fire at close range to see the effects, and then I'll come back for a summary. So let's get to it. All right, back at the chronograph here with our Model 20 Beretta, 25 ACP. I'm gonna do the first chronograph recordings with this PNC bronze 50 grain full metal jacket projectile. Do about 3 shots, and then I'm gonna follow it up with 3 shots of this Federal punch full metal jacket, 45 grain full metal jacket projectile. Let's see what we get. I guess I'll do about 4 shots each. Okay, I think I'm in the camera here. .745, 707, 708, and 702. Not very impressive there. I'm gonna reload it with 4 shots of the punch and change the string. Okay, this is a Federal punch. It's like a flat nose projectile, 45 grains. It's supposed to be higher velocity. Okay, let's see, minutes. .840. Didn't pick nothing up there. Get real low. 822. And 784. All right, let me finish this. Substantial more velocity with the Federal punch. Going to go to the thermal effects test next. 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, another 6 inches of water. I'm going to do 2 of them. First one will be the PMC full metal jacket 50 grain, and the second will be this punch. 745, 707, 708, and 702. Not very impressive there. I'm gonna reload it with 4 shots of the punch and change the string. 840. Didn't pick nothing up there. Get real low. 822. And 784. I'm just going to try another couple of shots over the chronograph with the punch. I only get 2 shots that recorded, but it was around the 840 range. Shifting light. So, let's try that. Okay. 901. 874. 872. That's more like it. Substantial performance increase, 150, 175 feet a second over the standard 25 ACP PNC loads. So I'll edit this together to make it seamless. It's a little clunky, but we set up the terminal effects test. 892, 909, 931, 933, and I'm exactly 7 yards from the target. I got the other camera on the target. I'm going to do 2 groups. The first one will be with this PMC, just 50 grain full metal jacket ball. I'm going to shoot that at the bottom aiming point. It's a recycled target. And then I'll repeat it with 4 or 5 shots of the Federal Punch. I think it's 4 in a row. 4 shots of the Federal Punch. It's a premium ammo, but I think I'll stoke this little gun with it. So, charge it. All right, first up, bottom group. And that was the last one. Okay, I'm going to do 4 at the top one of this 45 grain Federal Punch, just to see how it shoots out of this little gun. Just load the magazine. Magazine buttons on the lower left side of the grip. Okay, top group, 45 grain Federal Punch. Okay. Walk down to the target, and groups are about the same. It's 5 shots here. I did that. Safety threw me off. It's on the money. And little mouse gun like that, 21 feet, 7 yards. That's about, can't ask for better accuracy than that. It's all in the boiler works. So I'm going to do a little comparative recoil test, but I use apples to apples. I got a 22 long rifle caliber Sterling mouse gun, pocket pistol. I had it in a video a while back. Just fired 2 and 2, and pause this and load the 2 guns. Okay, I'm going to do 4 at the top one. This 45 grain pedal punch, just to see how it shoots out of this little gun. Just load the magazine. Okay. Walk down to the target. And groups are about the same. It's 5 shots here. I did that. Safety threw me off. It's on the money. And little mouse gun like that, 21 feet, 7 yards. That's about, can't ask for better accuracy than that. It's all in the boiler works. So I'm going to do a little comparative recoil test, but I use apples to apples. I got a 22 long rifle caliber Sterling mouse gun, pocket pistol. I had it in a video a while back. Just fired 2 and 2, and pause this and load the 2 guns. Okay, I'm going to do a thermal effects test. First up is the PMC 50 grain full metal jacket, just range type ammo. 1 shot. I got to set the other camera to run on slow motion, get me in the frame. Got a 6-inch jug of water, fresh sheet plywood, 3/4 inch, similar to every bone. Another 6-inch jug of water and a piece of plywood. Shot before, but it's marked behind the second jug. I think that's all we'll need. Ears on. All right, let me pause this. We'll go look at the result. All right, let's see here. All right, not very impressive. Went through the jug, just drilled a clean hole through it. It didn't even raise a bump on the reverse side of the plywood. You can see the projectile in there. We're going to try this again with the Federal 45 grain punch 25 ACP ammo. Just going to clean this up and repeat it. Okay, we're going to do our second thermal effects test with this Federal 45 grain punch. It's moving along a lot faster than the PMC 50 grain. 2 jugs of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood sandwiched between them. The water is 6 inches deep each jug. They're just standard gallon juice jugs. Followed up with a piece of plywood behind the second jug. Just going to fire it 1 shot, so I'm just going to load the pistol. And I think we're running. All right, let me clean that up and pause this for a minute. All right, back for a little autopsy here. I think I'm on the camera. Went through the first jug. I hit it a little off center, but clean through both sides. This is the entrance. It went through the 3/4 inch piece of plywood, almost all the way. I don't know where the projectile is. It's not in the second jug, but it knocked a hole through both sides of it. So it penetrated this, just these 3/4 inch piece of plywood. And I'll have to look around, and maybe on the table. I would definitely say that the Federal Punch is better ammo. You're gonna use this in a defensive mode. Penetrations everything, these mouse guns. So that's a good result for a little tiny gun. But shut that off. Gonna do this is a little Sterling. It's already loaded. First up, 2 shots, 40 grain CCI mini mag. Alright, make sure I'm in there. Okay. And now the little Beretta. This is just a 50 grain range ammo. Actually, slightly more, just a tad more felt recoil than the Sterling, but it's shooting a heavier bullet. That'll be up for a little comparative recoil demo. Target here. Just gonna raise my hand and dump them into the target. I got 9 shots in a pistol. The magazine holds 8, 1 in a pipe, and the other camera's on the target. And basically, I just come up, fire, up, and that's how you engage an adversary. Obviously, not looking at the camera back and forth, but they're all would have did their job on the target camera. Little hits in the face. So modest recoil, very useful little tiny pistol, backup pistol. You're walking on a beach or in a pair of shorts, put it in your pocket. You can always be armed. You're not going to be toting a 45 around with you. And it is lethal. You know, it's not a man stopper, but a few handguns are. You want a man stopper, get a shotgun or a rifle. Let's see. There's very little you can do with this. I'm not going to go plink plates at 20 or 30 or 40 yards with it. It's a belly gun. Belly distances, 0 to 7 yards or 10 yards max. But 10 yards away you can still hit with this little gun. The sights are very rudimentary. I don't know if you can see it on there, but just a tiny little slot. And the subsequent model to this, the 21A, they stopped making a few years ago. They just make it in 22 long rifle. In fact, I don't think any company today is making 25 ACP pistols, but it is a handy little concealable weapon. I'll go into the summary after this, and that'll be a little demonstration of our little Beretta Model 20 25 ACP. I'm about 3 yards from this little target here. Just gonna raise my hand and dump them into the target. I got 9 shots in a pistol. The magazine holds 8, 1 in a pipe, and the other camera's on the target. And basically, I just come up, fire, up, and that's how you engage an adversary. Obviously, not looking at the camera back and forth, but they all would have did their job on the target camera. Little hits in the face. So modest recoil, very useful little tiny pistol, backup pistol. Okay, we're back after our my observations or a opinions after little shooting demonstrations with this fine little Model 20 Beretta 25 ACP. In an earlier video, I did it on a Sterling 22. There's a mouse gun, pocket gun, belly gun. I'll put them side by side. They're roughly the same size. This is a 22 long rifle. It's 6 shots, and you can put one in a chamber, so that's 7. And this is 9 shots. 8 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. And those are the 2 magazines. 22. I have Federal Punch in this magazine. After shooting a punch, I'm going to carry that in this little Beretta. I like this performance. What was I going to say? In fact, I'll put that in there. We did the chronograph test. The chronograph, I did the PMC, I'm sorry. PMC Full Metal Jacket. That's this stuff, the bronze. 50 grain Full Metal Jacket projectile. Velocity average 720 feet a second. And it translates to 58 foot-pounds of energy. The Federal Punch, I wound up doing it twice, 2 different chronograph sessions. And the second session, the velocities were higher. So I don't know if the gun heated up a little bit, but it added like another 40 feet per second to the average. The first batch I think was 820. Still 100 feet a second faster than the regular factory 50 grain ball. And then the second batch was like 882 the average, because I was getting some over 900 feet a second. That's zipping along in this little gun. But the total for all the shots I fired, the average was 49 feet per second, and the energy would bump up to 72 foot-pounds. Not a lot of energy, but they're very small packages, and they're not 44 Magnums, but they are light and handy. Excellent little pistols. If you're gonna, you're walking down a beach in a pair of shorts, you want to be armed, something like this. They are making, 32s and 380s, similar in size, but they recoil a lot more, and they have less ammunition capacity. Everything's a trade-off, but all in all, it's a fine little package if you're gonna cross one of these. Did accuracy test. That was 7 or 8 yards away. Let's see here. This was the PMC, the Full Metal Jacket. 5 shots. It's about 8 yards. Flyer on me. The punch was a little bit, expanded group, but still in the boiler works. So. Not really, it's perfectly adequate for what it's designed for. Did the terminal effects test, 50 grain, PNC Full Metal Jacket, 6 inches of water, a gallon jug, 3/4 inch piece of plywood that simulates a bone, heavy bone, another jug of water, and another piece of plywood. The 50 grain Full Metal Jacket, drill a hole clean through the jug and went into the plywood. This one here. It's in there. I never dug it out. Maybe I can. I hate to bust the knife. Yeah. It's buried in there pretty good, but it didn't even dimple the back. Slight dimple, very slight dimple. So probably went through 2/3 of it. Did start separating the plies a little bit. Let me pause this. Let me see. Okay, I'm back. I did dig the projectile out. Pretty much undeformed. And a plywood. It was 3/4 of the way through. But it didn't bulge out. But that would have been effective penetration. That would have been fatal or lethal. Then I did the Federal Punch, 45 grain. I didn't recover the projectile. It fell off the table. It went somewhere. But the Federal Punch is this 45 grain flat tip full metal jacket. It's kind of silver in color. Higher velocity, and it penetrated more. Drilled through the first jug, went through the plywood. It entered here, exited here, went through the second jug. It struck the piece of plywood behind it and rolled off the table somewhere and went into the woods. But after the first jug and the first piece of plywood, it angled off to the left. It caught the second jug on the extreme left side and it went out the extreme left side on the back. But it still went through 6 inches of water, so it had pretty good penetration. With all these mouse guns, penetration is the key. You gotta be able to get into the boiler works or the computer room to stop the fight. Like I said, it depends on a lot of factors. The adversary's willingness. If you've got a drugged out PCP zombie who's looking to chop your head off, you better be real accurate with your shots into the brain pan. That's the only way you stop them. But you could hit somebody with a 45, you don't have them in the right spot, then you gotta be stopped. It'll still kill you. That's just the way it is. Did the accuracy test, did the mag dump. I really wasn't looking at it, like 3 or 4 yards away, but I put 9 shots right in this kisser. All right, all of that there, you know, that would have ended the fight in all likelihood. Not to be too gruesome, but that's the way it is in reality. It's if you should inherit one of these, you acquire one of these. Like I said, you're not the gun person. Just want something on a nightstand. Is it my first choice for self-defense? No, but it has its place in a self-defense role. Backup gun, you know, close-range personal defense weapon. Something like this you're likely to have on your person than the big Kimber 45 you left home. You know, you just run into the store, you throw this in your pocket, like the term pocket pistol. Of the two, obviously Beretta is a higher quality firearm. This ain't a bad firearm too. It was made, I think, English firm, Sterling. I don't know if it's English, but I forget. I have to go over the video. But I much prefer a 25 ACP, just the reliability. One of the shooting demos I was doing with a Ruger, I think the Ruger Mark II. I had a box of Winchester. It's older stuff, but out of the 50 rounds, there was 5 duds in that box. You know, good firing pin strike on a corner. One of them did go off after I put it in and, you know, oriented it a different way in the chamber. It was shot, but you don't want that if you're trying to save your life. So everything goes in and out of fads. You know, the 25 is out of favor now because the amount of pistols floating around. It's likely they're going to manufacture the ammunition for many years to come, and but so it ain't like, you know, not find ammunition for the 25. The the Colt Vest pockets, beautiful little pistols, you know, collector's items, very reliable, but they're getting real pricey now on a collector's market. You might find one of these pretty inexpensively, you know. So, you know, gun store, used gun store, you know, gun show, something like that. But it's just something to consider. I just figured I'd do a little quick demo of it. Like I said, I'm a little rusty because I haven't done a video in probably, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. The ones that aired during April, I did all at once before I went down to lovely Florida for a while. I kind of regret coming back up. It's 48 degrees right now, raining. So it's nasty out. It's going down into the 30s tonight. This is the end of May, so the planet's warming up though. With that, I got another handgun video coming out. I did the shooting the other day. I'll do the intro on that, but I'll cobble this one together and put it out. And if you like what you see, just like and subscribe or ring the bell. They'll tell you every time I put a video out. So With that, I'm Old Gun Guy, and have a good day.